Don't wait till the battle's over. Don't wait till the struggle ends. Shout now, shout now, right now, shout now, shout now. Don't wait till you make it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PHILLIP Show. Listen, you already know that as a musician, I love anything music, but as somebody who speaks to people all the time, this platform is about everybody has a story. Behind every song, behind every lyric, behind every word, there's always a journey that the lyricist, the songwriter, the producer, somebody had to go on. Either it's their journey or they're writing about a journey for somebody else. And today we're talking to Tronee Threat. He is launching some new music. He has some stuff in the past, but his journey is incredible. And we're going to get into it today. Tronee, how you doing?
Yo, what up? I'm good. What's up?
Hey, in the flesh, man. Hey, how's it going?
I see you got the mug. You know what I mean? I'm coming with the mug too.
Listen.
Cheers up. Salute.
Nice. Cheers. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, man.
Right. So how's everything going over there?
It's going, man. Plenty of grinding, plenty of work. You know, carving out the lane. You know, it's a full-time job.
Yeah, well, definitely. And it looks like it. You're busy in a lot of different places, and you're probably one of the most active newer artists that I've seen in quite a while, specifically artists with messages. You know, we're in the time of hype and we're in the time of all of these things, but your songs and your lyrics have such substance. How did you get started in music?
How I get started in music? I don't know. I think that's an innate thing. You know, it's one of those innate things. I heard it. You feel me? And I'm like, it's like when you give a baby some sweets. You know, when they first experience it, they want some more of it. So that was what music was like to me. Just having my first taste of something sweet, and I went from there. Like ever since I was a youngster, I just been rapping. First song I learned, LL Cool J, I'm Bad.
Oh,
Cool D, Wild Wild West. I was 3 years old rapping them line for line, like nonstop. Wow. So, you know, hip hop was what was most relevant and around me the most. And so I gravitated towards that. Love the sound of the drums or the bass. But all music is in my spirit though, for sure, man. So yeah.
Well, you're definitely a writer. Are you a producer, musical producer as well? Because some people don't know that because you write, you're also a producer. But when it comes to instruments,
I use a MPC-1, so it's like a drum machine, a sampler, you know. So that's my thing. I used to play on a keyboard, you know, before I was able to sample. Then I started learning how to sample, and I fell in love with that. But you know, I've been getting back into using the keyboard a little bit more, creating some original sounds, using my fingers a lot more, playing those keys. But I don't have any kind of music theory or background or anything like that, but you know, just playing by ear and by spirit, what I feel in the soul. You feel me? But yeah, most definitely.
So your lyrics, I was actually having a conversation with somebody else. This is a whole nother conversation about copywriting and production rights and all of those things. And we were getting into who the writer is, who the producer is. So, you know, a lot of people don't know what it takes to create a song, and they think that the only person that's the producer is the one that actually plays the music. And that's just not true. But to anybody out there in copyright world and songwriting world, well, that'll be another show for all of y'all.
Yeah, we need that education to be put out there for sure. Because you're right, a lot of people don't know the differences. You know, but some of us wear multiple hats. You know, some of us are doing all of these things in one, and you know, it's different checks for it. But some of us write, some of us put the melody down, produce it, arrange it, all of that. You know, all in one, for sure.
So your music has such depth, the lyrics do, you know, and again, sometimes at face value, we can hear the beat and we can see your video, but, you know, you have a story, you know, and your story is pretty dynamic. Why are you so passionate, I guess, if you will, about getting your story to the public?
It's a story of the voiceless, you know. many people don't know who I am. So I'm Tronee Threat. I did 11 and a half years in prison. You know, I was inside those walls for a long time without a voice, and you know, felt like I was being snuffed out. You know, I had this energy, I had this will to do, and I was stagnated. I couldn't, right? So in that time, it was all these scenes and these things happening with me, with others around me, with my family. You know, so those stories can get swept under the rug or forgotten, and even those who are inside who are hoping when they get out that they can tell the story, a lot of them just get wrapped back up in life and forget about what they just went through. And that sounds crazy, but you can't forget what you went through. You could forget doing 30 years and just come outside into this life and just get right back into the rat race and forget it. So like, I just think it's important not to forget the struggle, not to forget where we came from, the things that were shaping us and developing us into stronger beings and reaching our higher selves. And I felt like, well, I just know that music is that platform for me to do it. So I wanted to stay connected to those stories as long as I need to, right? And as long as prison exists and people are still in prison, as long as the streets exist and people still in the streets, you know, as long as oppression and poverty and all of these things exist, people need to just always have them on in a space where people would be aware of it. You feel me?
Yeah, you're a young guy. So hearing that you were in prison as long as you were is pretty incredible. How have you changed, I guess, from then until now? Because to be so inspirational now, you know, with that kind of time, I guess, if you will, how did that impact you, I guess would be the question.
It impacted me a lot of ways. I mean, that's like that's something that a book could be written about how much it impacted me. And then there's ways that I don't know, right? It's what I do know and what I don't know. However, what I tend to highlight is one, the education, right? The education is something that's valuable in that change. And millions of us go through that system, right? And there's options. There's options to do nothing, or there's options to do more than what you were doing before you came in there. So one of those options is education, the education of yourself, the education to learn about the system that you're in, right? The education to learn about different cultures and different other people's background. Because once you're in there, right, now you put in this melting pot, and you come across people from all type of different walks of life and backgrounds, right? Just because you're in prison don't mean that everybody came from the same place, right? We coming from different cities, we coming from different states, we coming from different countries, right? All these different races, all these different mindsets. So now the education becomes vital. Now it's like you outside of your box. You in a new box, but you outside of your comfort zone, in the sense of you around people that you didn't come up with. You weren't raised up with them for the most part, right? So now it's like the education part of it, and I focused on educating myself on the system itself, how it was created, right? And that allowed me to understand how to move through it, right? And once I got out, it allowed me to understand how to educate other people on the system and what it really is. You know, we connected to slavery, right? It allowed me to focus on my craft, right? Before I went to prison, I was doing music, but I was one of those figure it out as you go type person. I ain't think about maybe there's resources where I could actually get other people's experience, and maybe people wrote books about the music business. Maybe there's colleges that's teaching about the music business and the degrees and the actual how to, right? And not just put a video on YouTube and then blow. No, there's always ways of how these things work. It's a machine. So, you know, that type of education and self-education, just learning myself, finding out what my triggers were, you know, when it comes to dealing with anger, dealing with trauma, you know, those type of emotional things. and that has helped me to develop myself as a better person, you know. So yeah, that was just some of the things that changed me the most was education.
How important was having a support system to you?
Support systems in prison can be like, for some of us, it can be a hindrance, right? If you have too much support, right, and you don't have to spend any kind of silent years, right? If you have too much of a safety net under you, and you start thinking things are, you could think things are okay, right? Right? You never want to think things are okay in prison. And I had a really good support system. However, I didn't abuse it in any kind of way. I rarely ever asked for money, right? I ain't spent a lot of time on the phone. I probably got 2 or 3 visits a year, maybe, right? I didn't get to see any of my children the whole entire time, right? So I had to keep suffering through the suffering, right? I had to suffer more through the suffering in ways. And that allowed me to really say, I got to get this out the mud. And this is how I'm about to do my time and focus, right? I ain't have no soft bed to lay on in any sense, in any sense of the metaphor. Like I had to do it the hard way. And that's what kept me with my gloves on. That's what kept me motivated and focused on getting out early. Because I got out 3 years early. I got sentenced 14 years.
No.
Right. Yeah. I was sentenced 14 years. Yeah. So the day before, even before I got in prison, you know, I was like, I'm going to be determined to get out of prison as early as possible. Right. So, of course, every day wasn't like serious, go for it. You know, I laughed, you know what I mean? I enjoyed myself, but I never for once forgot where I was at and never once was okay with where I was at. I was always disgusted.
Some people say, and I'm going to get to your music yesterday. I don't want to harp on, the prison too much, but you had mentioned something when you said, I enjoyed myself. You know, can people get too comfortable in prison?
Yeah. Yeah. People could get too comfortable with failure anywhere in life. Right. You know, people get content and don't, you know, they accept it. You know, they accept, and some of us accept just existing in whatever space we exist in when we created for more than that, because we all just great and got these great abilities. And some of us wake up in the morning and we tired and we like, I'm going back to sleep. I don't care what my responsibilities are. Right. You know what I mean? So even in prison, in prison it's like people could be like, hey, shoot, I don't have to do nothing. So guess what? I'm not going to do anything. Right. I'm going to just let everything go. You know, some of them won't even cut their hair. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to let everything go. And I'm going to blame it on my circumstance. And again, we got different type of minds. So like, I never really was the one that like judged anybody for that. Right. We created, some of us is created to say, I'm not going to accept this. You know what I mean? And some of us will just let it happen. We'll let life happen to us instead of putting our influence on life. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, you definitely didn't let that slow you down. You have a new video that just came out called "Do It." Tell me about the video and the song. What is it all about?
Do It. All right, so "Do It" is simply put, it's a song about the night that I committed the crime, that I committed to land me in prison for all that time. And what it is an aggressive reality of exactly how I was feeling, the thoughts that were in my head that influenced and pushed me to take that next step to go all the way with what I didn't really want to do, but felt that I needed to do from all the different variables that existed. You know, when you beefing in the streets and your life is in danger, you want to eliminate that danger because it's like you thinking in your mind, kill or be killed, right? And don't none of us want to die.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, like, so this is a portrayal of that night when I was in the car. You know, I had charges of a drive-by shooting, even though it wasn't a drive-by, but it's technically a drive-by if you discharge a weapon out of a car. So I got charged with a drive-by shooting, guns, felonious assault, etc. And so that night in that car, even though I had two co-defendants with me, one in the back seat, one in the driver's seat, when you watch the Do It video, it's three of me in the car, right? It's me in the driver's seat. It's me in the back seat, even though I'm masked up, like you see back here. I'm masked up, but that's who was really in the car with me. My co-defendants had no influence over me whatsoever because they weren't even that powerful to have influence over me. My conscience, my ego, who I believed I was as a person, and me reflecting on everything that had happened to me, everything that was said to me, right? It was even a song playing on the radio. I had just got this Busta Rhymes album. It was like called Back on My Bull, and they had a skit on there with Mike Epps, and Mike Epps was describing him going into a nightclub and getting jumped by a bunch of guys and getting his jaw broken and wanting nobody helping him, and it was just him by himself. And that's what happened to me, right? So all of this, the stimuli was happening to me at the same time in that car, like, and in the video, what you see is my conscience talking to me about all of these things, and I'm explaining to you. But then there's a more powerful force that's outside of my conscience. And when we talk about God and the devil, we talk about free will. And a lot of the time we speak of the devil as the tempter, right? And can't force you to do anything, right? But could lay out, different things that can tempt you. So outside of the car, you see a girl dancing on the hood, right? And she masked up just like me, and she represents that higher, that stronger power that I can't see, but it exists, right? And now that's coming down, and that's getting into my brain as well. And then it's the do it part. I done talk myself up, I done amp myself up, right? Allowing all these thoughts to get in my head. You said you're gonna do it. You got a gun on you. You said you would use it. Oh, you said that, you about that life, and you ain't gonna let nobody do nothing to you. Will prove it. Okay, and guess what? Go crazy, lose it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't care about nothing right now. Don't care about your child. Don't care about your mom. Don't care about your career. Don't care about nothing. Lose it all, right? So I go for it, and I pop off. And then the video, you see it pop off. You see the bag over my hand that represents the gun, but on the bag you see it say 3%, and on the other side of the bag you see it say sorry, because I got jumped and I got my jaws broken, and I had an intended target in my mind that night, right? And that's who I was shooting at, but for whatever circumstances, I didn't shoot him. I missed, and I ended up shooting a young girl in the face named Colleen, right? And the 3% says that it's a certain number of people that get shot in the head every year, but only 3% of them survive, right? So she became a part of that 3%. She got shot in the face or head technically, and the bullet went in one side of her face and came out the other and missed her brain or whatever. But she became a part of that 3%. So that's also an apology to her specifically, and anyone who suffered from indirectly what happened that night, right? So the 3%, you see that on the bag, and then on the other side you see it say sorry. And then even towards the end of the song, you got the words change. It went from do it, use it, prove it, lose it, and then it changes at the very end and it says shoot it. And I shoot, and then my conscience or that stronger power which was tempting me, that don't love me at all, acting like it's with me and acting like it's for me and pumping me up. Then there's the word stupid. Like you let me geek you up. And guess what's about to happen to you? You about to go to prison, and you done damaged this girl's life temporarily, of course. And there's a story behind what happened with her. Like, then she's amazing. She came out great. She not a sleeper. She don't wake up in the morning and go back to sleep. She wake up in the morning and know she got stuff to do, and she accomplished it. So like she came out great after that, fortunately, so yeah, that's what doing about. And it's a continuation of that, man. That's what I'm gonna keep coming with, like real stories. Some people, when they hear it and watch it, it makes them uneasy. Should that's what was happening. I was uneasy in that car, right? It was dark car. Like there was some dark moments. It was outer body moments in that car. Like, so if it makes people feel a certain type of way, that's because that was the reality of it,
You you have such a it seems like a determination to impact people positively. You performed with the World House Choir here. You have different community events. You're doing so many things. What do you want your music to do for people?
Outside of make them bob their head, like that's always gonna be the thing too. I don't ever want people to be so listening so close, right? That it's all like a straight teaching, and they like Tronee Threat about to rap. It's gonna be deep. Shut up. You know what I mean?
No, even your explanation of this past song, because I've heard the song and I've seen the video. So you're definitely bobbing your head, but then it's like, oh, wait a minute. And there's a lot of intentionality that you put throughout that entire, and symbolism that you put throughout that entire track. So now for you as an artist with this opportunity of, I don't want to say another chance, but this next season of your life that you're in now, you're doing music and you're impacting the masses and you're putting yourself out there. What do you want people to know or to do with the music? What do you want it to do?
Well, what I want the music to do is open up a pathway for me and others who are like me to be able to raise awareness. But overall, what I'm big on is prevention, right? So when I speak about prevention, I'm always talking about the youth, right? I'm talking about the youth that come from these backgrounds like we did. You got 10-year-olds, 13-year-olds out here. They got straps, they got guns, right? And they shooting, right? They got environments that don't promote higher education. They got environments that's uninspiring, right? They got people around them that don't know, right? So it's a lack of mentorship. I'm hoping that the music that I'm putting out, right, is medicine in the food, right? That they can bite on and bob their head, right? But get something out of it, get a connection out of it, and say, okay, we got one type of music that's telling me that I should do this and it's glorifying it. We got another type of music that sound the same, got that same energy to it, right? But it's a reflection. It's reflective music. It's hindsight music that's trying to encourage me to have find a new way. But not just the encouragement. I never tell somebody to put a strap down. I never tell somebody to stop selling drugs if I don't have something in place for them to replace, right? You know what I mean? It's easy to say, yeah, you cold, man, go get a coat. Nah, give me a coat, right? So I could get warm. So that's what I'm hoping for those who come from where we come from, and they struggling in these areas. Like Jay-Z said, I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I chose to leave and come back and give more. To me, it's a win-win. So those who are mentally impoverished, right, they can't see the way that we seeing, like, it's for them. And for those who are in a position, right, that might not come from where we come from, or in a position to assist, I'm hoping that they get down with what I'm trying to open up, or what I'm opening up, and what I'm creating. And that's a space for the youth to come. And my thing is hip hop. My thing is music. This is what I know. Music and fitness, right?
Yeah.
So I have to go where I'm strong at, where I got the most education at, and that's where I create the space, right? So we creating the space for youth to come and learn about the music business, record, produce, learn about different professions in the industry, right, that they can gravitate to outside of just being on the stage, different ways of making money. Because it's about, people love the art, right? We love the art. But for us, it's, you gotta have some money, you gotta make some money, right?
Yeah.
Art don't put food in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Don't pay electric bills, right?
Yeah, you got to do the business part. Yeah.
Right. So we trying to get them together that way, even with the fitness, right? So we bringing the youth into spaces where they could exercise and work out, you know, and build from there. And from there, we got people in place that's teaching and leading and mentoring and literally holding their hand, walking them through step by step, broadening their imagination, because a lot of things they don't know exist because it just never been in their environment. So we introducing them to new possibilities, right? So that's my thing for what I'm using music for. I'm using music for that as a vehicle, because now it's bigger than music. Now that I know more, I got to do more, right? And I'm like, this is what I can use. Like, this is what I'm going to be doing anyway. So while I'm doing that, this is what I could be doing. So for those who are more fortunate, more well off, I hope that they get with me, ask more about what I'm talking about, see how they can be of some assistance, so that we could prevent this school to prison pipeline, right? We could change that narrative of children from these areas even just thinking it's a normal thing to go to prison, right? You know what I mean? So, or carry straps, or to be in a gang. And if they are going to be in the gang, it's going to be positive, like in a positive light. Like, we grouping together and we making change, we making beautiful things happen, and not the ugliness, right? So that's what I really want to use. That's what I'm using music for, you know. That's that's one of my ultimate goals, is to create this space for the youth. And we're doing that through Threat Life. That's the moniker, Threat Life, you know, because Threat Life, you know, it's a lifestyle of people that was boxed in and cornered by these social norms. But guess what? We're demolishing all of that, so we're a threat to that worldview, you know. So it's a threat.
Nice. Tronee Threat and Threat Life.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, well, thank you for coming here. For people who want to be able to find you and connect with you, where should they look?
Well, we on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? You could at Tronee Threat on Instagram. I'm on Facebook under Guy Banks, GUYBANKS. We ain't got the website up yet. We ain't got the Patreon up yet. I only been home 5 months, and I'm moving rapidly. I'm also gonna be doing that later on. I'm gonna draw back to this docu of showing people all of the things that, you know, how to build this up and how to juggle, right? Because I should have my website up, but I don't yet, because I've been juggling all these things, and I'll keep trying to draw back to the website. So anyway, TroneeThreat@gmail.com, you know, send me an email, link up, you know.
Got it. Well, for everybody at home, you'll have all that information, but Tronee Threat, thank you so much for sharing your story, your inspiration. It's super encouraging to see you go like full force, full throttle, straight forward, and have like all of these assets, this music, these events that you're doing. You have stuff to say, I'm doing this, and ways for people to get involved and see how it can be done. So I appreciate that.
For sure, appreciate you. Y'all go check out the Do It video on YouTube. Slow Cook on there. We on Apple Music, Amazon, all of that. Check it out.
See, there's always more. There's always more. I love it. All right, man. Oh, hey, before we go, you'll have to come back and give us some fitness tips on what to do and get our lives together. We've been inspired when it comes to lyrics and words in our lives. Then you got to get us right when it comes to fitness. Yeah.
Let's do the fitness one too, man. No doubt. I'm with it.
Talking about, different season, a life restored, and not just being somewhere, being complacent, doing something with it, creating platforms and creating inspiration for the people and the communities that are around you. So visit all of the links for Tronee Threat, connect with him, be inspired by him, watch the videos, watch real closely because you could miss the meetings, but now that he laid it all out, watch it again and know that the lyrics have meaning and people's lives are on display for you to be inspired by, and know that you too can change things around. All right, so until next time, see you here on the PHILLIP Show, and remember that you are the best you in the world. Bye.
Don't